Good evening, it's meteorologist Michael Fecka. Welcome back to the 9 p.m. all-weather, all-streaming show that we do here every night during the workdays and on weekends. We stream it out to all of our streaming platforms as well as to Facebook Live. So if you are joining us from Facebook or YouTube, please feel free to leave a question or a comment. Hopefully I'll be able to answer them as I go through the forecast here, but if not, I'll go through at the very end and see if I can answer anything individually for you. So let's get started here. What are we looking at for our headlines for the rest of the night tonight? We do still have the chance for a few more storms to move in through the overnight hours that may linger into early Monday morning. And then we've got that cold front that's going to be moving through Monday night, and that will continue to bring us the chance for some scattered showers and storms, and even that potential for a strong or severe storm, but it is a pretty isolated risk for that. And then beyond that front, it looks like high pressure builds in through the middle and end of the work week, and that brings us a nice dry weather pattern just in time for 4th of July. So I'll break all those down, all those details down here on the 14 First Alert streaming show. But here's a look at what our highs got to today. We topped out at around 90 degrees here in the Evansville area, a little bit cooler to our south, and areas that saw showers today, which pretty much was everywhere around Evansville. So everywhere that only topped out in the 80s today is where we likely saw some of those showers and downpours. But here in the Evansville area, we actually made it out scot-free. We maybe got a few sprinkles earlier this evening around 5 o'clock with a dying storm, but that was pretty much it for the Evansville area. A couple other locations had a few spot downpours and storms move through, but overall haven't really seen much in the way of coverage of those showers for our Sunday. However, we do still have that chance overnight tonight, which I'll show you on the models. But here's a look at our current temperatures. So we've cooled all the way back down into the lower 80s. Some folks are down in the upper 70s to our north, like up towards Indianapolis, 79 in Paducah, and here at around 82 in the Evansville area. Dew points still very elevated, so it is still very muggy out here, and unfortunately will still be muggy like this as we go through Monday. However, once that front moves in for Monday night, we will see these dew point temperatures drop back down into the 60s. So it will still be a little bit humid out there, but more normal humidity for this time of year, not this oppressive mugginess that we've been dealing with. So that will be a welcomed change as we go through the work week. But here's a look at our setup across the United States. Right now we have this area of low pressure that's kind of built all the way up to our north of the Canadian border there, and it is bringing this cold front through, sparking off some showers and storms across the central plains there. And here we're kind of in this quasi-warm sector of this low pressure system. So we've just been seeing a few of those bubble up showers and storms throughout the day. And again, most of them have actually ended up being around the tri-state, but not necessarily moving into the tri-state. However, it does look like this little batch of rain here might kick off a few more showers and storms as we go through the overnight hours due to some outflow boundary interactions. But here's a look at our radar loop from the last 18 hours. So starting from this morning, we started off quiet. We had a few spot showers here and there, especially off to the eastern periphery of the tri-state. And then we had this batch of showers that kind of weakened after it passed over the Wabash River. And now we're here at this current point where we've got a few spot showers here and around there, but nothing too crazy in the tri-state. But here's a better look at that. Looks like the only real spot shower we have is in White County there, just passing to the west of Carmi. But everywhere else is dry at the moment. We do still have that chance again for additional downpours and scattered showers and storms overnight tonight and even throughout the day on Monday. But I think for tomorrow, a lot of it will be concentrated as that front moves through. But we do have that risk again for some heavy downpours. Isolated flooding is still possible even tonight and into tomorrow. But once that cold front clears out of here, then that risk ends because we have high pressure that will start to build in. So here's a look at that forecast for tonight. We'll drop down into the low to mid 70s for our overnight lows with that chance for a few more scattered showers and storms. Tomorrow, mostly seeing some showers and storms through the afternoon and into the evening hours as that front moves in. So highs will top out in the upper 80s, similar to how they have all weekend long. But looking at the models here, which have been handling this very poorly because, again, a lot of these showers and storms are either diurnally driven or outflow driven due to their interactions. So it means maybe one storm pops up here, but then it dies off and it leaves out a gust front and it kicks up another one further down the road. And models really struggle with those kind of interactions here. So it's been hard to really pinpoint exactly where any showers and storms will develop as we go through the night tonight, but it is showing that potential through the overnight hours for additional downpours. Now, I do think this model is way overdoing it, as it has been all weekend long. It's been showing much more coverage of showers and storms than what has actually been happening. So we'll see if this actually comes to fruition, but I'm thinking we at least still have that chance for isolated to scattered storms overnight tonight. And then as we go through tomorrow, again, it does look like much of the day will be dry, but as that front moves in for Monday evening, we have better chances for some more showers and storms, and then it'll finally clear out of here as we get into Tuesday morning. Now, outside of that isolated flooding risk, for tomorrow specifically, we do have that isolated severe risk. Again, a strong to severe storm can't be completely ruled out, but widespread severe weather is not expected for tomorrow. Our main hazard would be an isolated damaging wind gust. Now, better news, here's what that front will at least do to our humidity levels. So we've been stuck up in the muggy and stifling category here pretty much all of last week, all weekend here, and we are going to spike back up into it as we get into tomorrow ahead of that front. But once that front passes into Tuesday, you'll notice it drops down into that muggy and humid category as opposed to the muggy and stifling category. So a little bit more normal for this time of year. However, it doesn't last very long. As we go through the end of the work week starting Thursday, it looks like we'll start to see those dew points tick back up again as high pressure kind of slips off to our east, brings winds out of the south, and then that's the whole deal there. That's why we continue to see not only some higher dew points towards the end of next week, but we also see another warming trend. So we'll be around average through the first half of the work week there, but then as we get into Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, it looks like we'll start to pop back up into the 90s and continue that warming trend at least through the first week of July. So there's a look at your 7-day temperature trend here. So again, topping out in the upper 80s, which is completely normal for this time of year for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Then as we get into Thursday, Friday, Saturday, that's when we start to bump back up into those lower 90s, and we'll see the humidity tick up again a little bit as well. But you'll also notice we are actually expected to remain either right around normal for precipitation or even slightly drier, at least as we go through the end of next week. So let me show you what that looks like, and it's perfect because that means we aren't really too concerned with anything happening on the 4th of July other than it just being in the 90s with plenty of sunshine. So here's a look at the European model. That cold front clears the area Tuesday morning, and then high pressure builds in right behind it for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and even into Saturday of next week. Our next best chance for showers and storms outside of tomorrow won't be until Sunday night and into next Monday. So we do have another dry stretch there as we go through the middle of the work week. But let me go ahead and take a second to check out the comments, how you guys are doing, what questions you guys might have. Looks like Holly asked, how come it said it was going to rain this weekend, but it never did? May I ask? Yes, you can. Well, essentially what happens is when we have scattered showers and storms that just bubble up wherever, it really just depends on where you're standing. You know, some folks may have gotten a really tiny downpour for about a few seconds, and then other folks may have just had sunshine all day long. So that's kind of the unpredictability of these summer type pop-ups. So if you're lucky enough, you avoided all the showers and storms through this weekend and you ended up with plenty of sunshine. So nothing too much to complain about. Dion said he got the grass cut today ahead of the rain. Will we get any bad wind with the rain? It is potentially, we could see an isolated damaging wind gust here and there as that front moves through for tomorrow night. But a lot of the models aren't really too gung-ho on anything too powerful as we go through tomorrow evening there. So that's why it's just that slight, or that level 1 marginal risk there. So not really super widespread with that threat for tomorrow. And Jessica said she got the tiniest shower in Princeton. She said it was nice. So I'm glad, you know, some people are appreciative of the few little showers we got, and others are happy that it didn't hit them at all. So that's good. All right, so it looks like someone said it rained in Jasper today. Laura is watching from Dawson Springs. So welcome to the weather show, guys. We like to do this and we like to be interactive in the comments as well. So if you have any other questions, continue to ask them here. We are at the end of the month, so I do want to do a little bit of a recap of what June has been like so far. And we've been topping out generally in the 80s for much of the month, which is around average. However, remember last week, that's when we really started to feel that heat. We topped out in the mid 90s to even upper 90s for the most part of all of last week. And then we started to cool down just a touch this weekend with a few more clouds and even a few of those showers and downpours across the area. So overall, the temperature, it was slightly above average now because of last week. But looking at our precipitation, we actually haven't really gotten any good precip at the Evansville airport since the 18th, or at least something that was really measurable. We've been kind of dry there all of last week, and again, much of this weekend. You know, we were still expecting a few downpours and showers, but it really just depends on where you're standing, and it looks like the Evansville airport was not in the path of any of those showers or storms. So we didn't really pick up anything here for today, but again, that's still possible. We pick up something as we go into tomorrow. But looking at the overall precipitation for the month, we picked up just shy of 6 inches so far, which most of actually fell back on the 13th. If you remember, that's when we had that really big downpour. Actually, I can go ahead and pull it up here. That downpour that flooded the west side and the north side of Evansville, that's where most of our precipitation, at least in the Evansville airport, has come from so far this month. Actually, more than half of it has come from just that one single downpour. So looking at our June statistics, we are still 1.7 inches above where we should be for this time of year. And looking at the entirety of the year, it has been a wet one. So we are still well above average for this point in the year. We've picked up 33.82 inches of rain. That is 8.09 inches above where we should be. And our average temperature now sitting at around 2.5 degrees above normal. So just a couple of stats for you guys there. And here's a look at your 7-day forecast. Again, that cold front will move through for Monday night, so we'll have that chance for a few more scattered showers and storms. And again, there is that isolated damaging wind gust risk through tomorrow, but nothing widespread severe is expected. And then we'll start to have high pressure build in through Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and even a little bit into next weekend. Perfect timing for 4th of July. Look at Friday. It is going to be a really nice day, it appears. So mostly sunny skies, temperatures topping out in the lower 90s, and then humidity starts to pick back up, especially as we head into next weekend. So that is all I really have here for the forecast here. Cheyenne asked, so I need to keep the weather radio on all night tomorrow. No, I would just say, you know, have a way to receive an alert on your phone would be good enough. Again, we're not really expecting widespread severe weather. An isolated severe thunderstorm is pretty much all we're expecting as that front moves through. If anything changes, of course, Byron Douglas will be here early tomorrow morning, so if he sees anything different, he will let you know. Chet McKee says, it sprinkled in Princeton today. Last chance for measurable rain is Fair Week. After that is usually November before it rains much. Some crops and sand ground are already damaged. So thank you for that report. And it looks like Mary said it rained in Jasper as well. Saturday rained quite hard in Jasper. Yes, you guys had a good downpour that moved through yesterday afternoon. So and that is all I really have here for the forecast. So I'm going to hop off the live stream. I'll send you guys over to 14 News at 10 for all the latest news and weather headlines. Until then, everybody, have a great rest of your night. Stay safe, and we'll see you all tomorrow.